Hey, everybody.
Well, hello, everybody. Happy Friday, everybody. How's everybody doing out there?
It's Friday. Woo! I'm always so happy to make it to Friday. It feels like such a feat, doesn't it?
Does it feel like a Saturday, or does it feel like a Friday, or does it feel like a Monday?
Feels like Friday.
It's a Friday. I know. I'm just teasing. It's a Friday.
Please don't
Oh,
take
that's
that away. Love Friday. So,
it was a good week.
everyone out there, how's everybody doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How was your week, Kelly? How was your week? How was your week this week?
It's been good, but like all of our days, Trevor, all of our days, we both have kids, and it's just always just full throttle off the charts. You know what it's like.
Oh, it is always like that. I love kids so much, but I'm not going to have any more. I swear to God. Like, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so much. I have to keep up with them, and it's so crazy at times, right? It's just like going this way, and you're like, holy crow, where's the day gone, right? It's pretty nuts.
That's why we're biohackers, though.
That's right, because we need the extra energy.
Yeah, that's why every parent should be a biohacker, because you want to be able to keep up with your kids. You want to be able to stay alive as long as possible with your kids. And so that's why we're biohackers. And so that's why we're promoting the biohacker lifestyle.
That's right.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. I mean, sort of joking there, but to be honest, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're looking to lose body fat, keep up with your kids, all that good stuff. I mean, honestly, yeah, but the biohacker lifestyle is huge, because honestly, the foods that you're fueling your body with really dictate the amount of energy you have. So it really is, if you're trying to keep up with your kids, it's imperative that you fuel your body with the right types of foods. So yeah, we'll talk about that too.
Definitely the right types of foods, but so many other things also, like watching the toxins in your home, watching the toxicity that you fill your brain with. I mean, it's never ending, really. To try to be your very best self, there's so many things, and that's why Trevor and I, we love this, because there's so many things to think about and sink your teeth into, and I think it's a lot of fun.
Totally. It's amazing. There's so much to learn out there. And that's why, we're really grateful for everybody that jumps on this program with us and learns about how to, improve their health, increase their energy levels, sleep better, feel better, right? Because, we really want to get the right information out to you guys, right? And there's, again, we're going to be talking about the myths of, losing body fat and improving your health. And we want to get the right information out to you guys. That's why we do this show, so that you guys can take this information and you can apply it to your life. And then that makes a huge difference for you as well. So it's awesome. I love it.
Just thinking about these things, sometimes we get into our day-to-day routine. We're consumed with what we need to do next. And so sometimes we just don't even think about these things. But if you start giving them a little bit of thought, hopefully your life will improve. The people around you, their lives improve when your life improves. So all the way around, Trevor and I just want to lift up the whole world, right, Trevor?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm all about it. I'm all about helping people live to that next level. That's the biggest thing, right? Let's level it up, right? We want to make sure that that's right. Level it up. Make sure you're eating the right foods. You're sleeping well. You're feeling better. All that stuff, because when you feel better, your whole world changes, and you can take care of the people around you that much better. And I think that's that we need to really make that a conscious effort, for sure.
Most definitely. I'm with you 100%. So today, let's see. We have, if you stay till the end, which I hope you please stay till the end, we have our trivia question, which is,
what is Kelly and Trevor's favorite song growing up? We're going to do that one today, because last week was movies.
We each have our own, and so we'll definitely reveal that at the end. And
are we going to share our song? Or all our viewers be able to hear our song? I think we should do that. I think I should play my song, and then you should play your song. I don't know.
The only thing is I can't play it on my computer right now, because
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's okay.
I'm not. You'll have to figure out a way to
I
pull it
can
up
I can
yours.
do it on my YouTube. I can YouTube it and pull it up.
Yeah,
But
you can pull it up
that
on
would
your.
be kind of funny, like that, the magical reveal of Trevor's and Kelly's favorite song.
It's
Right, right,
interesting because they are right around the same. I'd be interested to see when these two songs came out. They were right around the same time. Mine might be a little bit earlier. I think mine is maybe 2 years earlier than yours, but it's
Mine is,
right.
yeah, mine's around 87, I believe, 1987.
Yeah,
What was yours?
mine's around 85. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
2 years apart. Yeah, no, that's a good trivia question right there. Yeah.
okay, so
All right.
today we are going to be talking about myths surrounding health issues. And we actually, Trevor pulled up this nifty little article that's got just a whole bunch of myths. And it's interesting because I don't agree with.
Oh, to the left.
I actually don't agree with some of the answers in this thing. Some of them I, of course, do, but that makes for a very interesting conversation, I think. Um, so let's just go ahead and just get started.
Well,
Trevor, uh,
before we do that, I just want to first say to our audience, I just want to also remind our audience, that we're super grateful for you guys to come on here every day, not every day, but sorry, every Friday, and spend some time with us. So make sure just to, share the show with everyone, right? If you have friends and family that are wanting to get healthier and biohack their body and really improve their health, make sure to share it. Make sure to hit that share button, comment underneath, ask questions, make sure that you're engaged with our program, because this is the way that we're going to help a lot of people in this world, is that getting all this great information out to them, especially around these health myths, which we're going to bust today on this program.
I don't know. Some of the myths I think are around for a reason. They may not actually hold the actual reason. They might not be completely true, I guess, but they're there for a reason, some of them.
I agree. Yeah, for sure. And as we go through that, we'll definitely discuss. We'll have a good
Mhm.
discussion around this. So yeah, why don't we start busting it out here, Kelly? So
All right. All right. Throw me a myth,
throw
Trevor.
me a myth. Okay, so let's start off with this one. I think both of us can kind of go through this one here, because um, our background basically revolves around this stuff. So you have one around exercise. I also have one around exercise. Crunches give you a six pack. What about that? Now, here's the thing when it comes to that. I really think that this is a huge myth, because I think one of your myths is around exercise too. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Which one for you is the exercise one?
Let's see. I actually had a couple. One was 10,000 steps is the magic number. And the other one is if we, let me see the wording here. If we, when we stop weight training, muscles turn to fat.
Ah, yes. Okay, which is pretty much exactly the same. Like crunches give you a six pack. I totally see. So, geez, that's a huge myth, and that's been around for such a long time. It's insane how long that's been around for. I mean, I've been a personal trainer since, like, I was a personal trainer from 1998 to 2015, and I mean, everyone would come to me and be like, "Hey, Trevor, I need, like, can you make me, show my six pack?" That was a big thing. Like, guys would come up to me and be like, "Hey, like, I want a six pack in 3 months." And the thing is, when it comes to actually, losing body fat, it's not about crunches. Everyone thinks, hey, like if I do enough crunches in the gym, I'm going to reveal my abs. And that's just not the case, right? I really believe that 100% when it comes to revealing your six pack, it's the actual nutrition that makes the biggest difference, right? It's the nutrition. That's number one when it comes to actually losing body fat. And so, we all have sometimes something called muscle camouflage over our six pack. And to get our six pack to actually show, you actually need to have you have to eat the right foods at the right times throughout the day. Right? Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, this actually, it doesn't have to do with food, but people also think if they're sick, if they have a six pack, that means they're really strong in their core. And that's not necessarily true either. I mean, the rectus abdominals, which are your six pack, have a lot to do with flexion. So you might
Yes.
be really strong moving this way, but
But what
it's
about,
actually your transverse abdominals
right.
that are more interior to the rectus. That's actually your real core strength, and is actually what's going to protect your spine. So trying to get the rectus to be, I mean, it's not a bad thing to be stronger, but if you're doing that to make your six pack show, you're not, people think, oh, I'm working my core, and that's not necessarily, it's part of your core, but it's not the core.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with 100%. It's all about transverse abdominis is actually what's going to give your whole core trunk strength. So yeah, the rectus abdominis is such a showy muscle, right? It's one of those muscles that if you have low body fat, you'll see it, but not necessarily that could you be very strong in that area, right? You just are,
Exactly.
you have a really good metabolism where your body, it doesn't store a lot of fat there. So you see the rectus abdominis, but again, your core muscles underneath could be really weak.
Exactly.
Right? So there's your myth right there, your myth buster right there.
Yeah, so that's a good all around. You guys know now, if you're wanting really to just work on the outward appearance of that area, I personally would say it would be diet and full core strength, full work in that entire
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's the big thing. It's like it's not just around the crunches. It's about, it's about planks, and it's about back extensions, and it's about strengthening the lower body and the upper body together. Because again, the core connects those two together. So like you have to make sure to have a strong core, but you also have to make sure that your extremities are also the equal strength, both lower body and upper body. So yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Well, so
Anterior and posterior, like
anterior,
front and back.
that's a huge one, right?
Yes,
Because so many
definitely.
guys are doing this in the gym, right? They're doing push-ups and not a lot of back, right? Not any rows or pull downs, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it's good.
Okay, so then we'll take that a little bit farther to the next myth, which is uh, when you aren't gaining muscle, it's just turning to fat.
Yeah. So
How many people out there have heard that, believe that? If you're not working out, it's just turning to fat.
yeah, that's a huge one. That one is I even get that one till today. Like it's very, very prominent still out there. And
Mhm.
really when it comes to, those types of things, muscle and fat are two different entities, right, in the body. So you can't actually convert muscle into fat, and you can't actually convert fat into muscle. They're very two separate, distinct entities on the body that require different nutrients and stuff to stay alive. If you're talking about muscle,
Yeah.
right?
So like if you stop doing any sort of weight training or anything, what happens is you your muscles shrink, and generally you will gain fat.
Body fat.
Yeah. So but fat is just coming into the spot where the muscle once was. It's not transforming into that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You mean you have basically atrophy. So like what that means is shrinking of the muscles, right? And then but the other thing is that you're probably keeping your calories at the same level when you were still training. So it'll look like, your body is transforming muscles into fat, but it's not. Basically, you're shrinking your muscles, you're eating the same amount of calories, and then what ends up happening is you basically can store the excess glucose as body fat. So you're shrinking your muscles, increasing your body fat. Now, of course, as biohackers, we want to do the complete opposite. We want to grow muscles and obviously shrink the body fat, right? And we do that, yes, exactly. We do that through proper nutritional protocols plus the correct training as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that should become our thing. Like anytime one of us is like flexing, or
We need to do something. Woo, woo.
this is our biohacker symbol right here.
Right, exactly. Yeah, totally. I think so. I mean, Give everyone a flex Friday or something like that, right?
Yeah, Flex Friday. I love it.
Yeah,
All right.
there you go.
So we just debunked a couple of myths about kind of muscle issues,
Yep.
body issues. Throw another one at me.
Egg yolks are bad for you. Oh my God. Let's talk about the egg. Let's talk
Yes.
about eating lots of eggs.
This is your topic. You love the egg. So I want you to really weigh in on this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, eggs over the, 20, 30, 40 years have been totally misrepresented. And I think it really, people think, hey, if I eat so many eggs, I'm going to get like high cholesterol levels and I'm going to get sick and I'm going to get heart disease and I'm going to, all that kind of stuff. But really, it's not true. When it actually comes to losing body fat, and it's not about the actual like saturated fats in the egg. Saturated fats are actually really good for us. Okay, now that's the most important thing to realize is that the saturated fat from the egg is actually good, and it doesn't actually affect the serum cholesterol in our bloodstream, right? Because so many people think, hey, if I eat lots of eggs, my cholesterol levels is going to go up. Isn't that true, Kelly? Have you heard about that myth
Oh
before?
gosh. Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
Decades.
But it's
Decades.
not, yeah, but it's not really, it's not the case at all. In fact, you could eat 3, 4 eggs a day and not increase cholesterol levels. Now, the reason is because when you actually eat cholesterol, it doesn't actually go into the bloodstream and become cholesterol. What your body can do is recycle a lot of the cholesterol that you're eating. And so if you're dealing with a lot of inflammation, what ends up happening is your body will actually create excess amount of cholesterol. But it has nothing to do with the foods that you're eating, right? So that's the big disconnect here, is that when it comes to cholesterol, it's actually not a bad thing to be eating foods that are higher in cholesterol, including eggs. Cholesterol is a very healthy thing for our body. And in fact, our body can make 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day. So why would we why would we not want to eat foods that are high in cholesterol when our body actually makes cholesterol, right? And our bodies can recycle excess cholesterol as well, right? So this is the thing. If you eat extra eggs throughout the week or throughout the day, you will not have a heart attack. You will not have heart disease. And so this is a huge myth, especially for me. I've been eating lots of eggs throughout the years, sometimes, 6 to 12 eggs a day. Sometimes, it depends on where I'm at when it comes to my physical activity, but, minimum at 4 to 5 a day. And I'm the healthiest that I've ever been. I feel great. And my cholesterol levels are normal. And so that's the biggest thing. I mean, cholesterol isn't something that we need to fear. And especially when it comes to eggs, it's not a huge thing. Not a big deal.
Wonder where did this come from? Because I'm always trying to find the root cause of why something is. Where would this come from? Why did that myth get
Yeah.
created in the beginning?
Back in the 1950s or 1953, you had somebody named Ansel Keys, who was an American psychologist. And he created a hypothesis that basically said, hey, if you're eating saturated fats, you're going to become sick, obese, and you're going to basically have an early death. And he basically studied, it was called the 7-country study. He basically studied, basically half a dozen countries. And they gave him, he had a very specific study. But that study was skewed, and it basically didn't have anything to do with saturated fats. And so he basically sold that study to the government, and the government basically took a look at it and said, yes, saturated fats are bad, and you don't want to be eating lots of fat. Instead, we want to actually be eating grains and grains and carbs, and that's where this whole thing started, around low fats, right? Because this is the big thing you want to realize, is that myth has been perpetuated through the ages. It's really a huge myth about fats, right? Like fats cause, clogging of the arteries. I mean, that's just a huge myth that needs to be debunked.
I just wonder, like, if the food industry, they were like, well, we can make a lot more money with it. It's going to be a lot cheaper to just make grains. We won't have to feed the chickens and, keep up with the chickens and their mess and all that stuff. I'm just curious, was it a lot cheaper to make the wheats and grains? So they were like, let's just really push this because it's going to be a lot easier and we can make
Yeah, I
more.
totally agree. I think that it all comes down to the mighty dollar, right? I mean, if it's cheaper to produce and cheaper to get out there to the public, Why not, right? That was all around the agricultural age, right? 1950s, 1953 and 55 was the
Mhm.
agricultural boom, right?
Yeah.
And so it
Right.
makes sense, right? That was the decade that basically we switched from kind of like well, I don't know what the previous was, but basically wherever it was like the farming, right? Farming and producing
Right.
grain, and wheat, and that kind of stuff, right? So that is, yeah, absolutely, that perpetuated everything.
Someone out there, they said I love eggs, so that's good. On this platform that we're on, we can't see who we can't see names, so I'm sorry about that. We would totally respond to your name. I think there's actually something on each of you watching, the viewers. I think there's something on your end where you can go in and allow StreamYard to see who you are. I think you have to do that on your end. So anyway, the viewer who loves eggs, thanks so much for watching, first of all.
Yeah, I
And
love it. We
we
all love
love
eggs.
that you love eggs because we love eggs too.
That's right, exactly.
Um, yes. Okay, so that's a food health myth there. That's a good one. I think you debunked that one very well, Trevor.
Thank you.
Our next one is because I'm the water girl, and this was on the list, y'all. I didn't bring this one to the table. It was just one on the list. Bottled water is better than tap water.
Da-da-da.
Ooh. Ooh.
I
Uh,
remember this from our talk. I remember this from our water talk the other day.
okay. Do you want
Yep.
to weigh in on this one?
I mean, I'll let you take a crack at it, but I'm pretty sure that bottled water is not exactly the best for you in a lot of different regards. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So at least with tap water, I'm not going to say tap water is always great. And it's going to really depend on the individual's perspective as well. If they don't want fluoride in their water or a lot of chlorine in their water, then they're not going to be very excited about tap water. But at least with tap water, you can contact your local municipality. I'm sure you can in Canada as well, and figure out exactly what is in the water. I know I can do that for my water here. I've done that. And so at least you can do that and you can know. But with bottled water, we have no idea. And even the big brands, Dasani and Aquafina and all, they're getting their water from many different sources, and you have no idea. And some of them are actually just using tap water.
That's what I hear too. It's the what you're testing for is parts per million, right? The actual parts per million of whatever the electrolytes, or not. I mean, not the electrolytes, but fluoride and those types of things, right? And I've heard that some bottled water is actually has way more parts per million than actually tap water.
Exactly. I mean, really, with the bottled water, it runs the gamut, and you just have no idea. You have no idea. Some of it is distilled, some of it is stream water. I mean, you don't generally know where that water is coming from. The other thing is the plastic that it's contained in, and tiny little particles. It's been proven tiny little particles of that plastic are seeping into the water, especially if it's out in the elements, in the heat. Uh,
Yeah,
that can progress that even
that's huge.
quicker.
Hey, I've heard that lots and lots with leaching of plastics into the water. That
Yeah.
is that's a big concern. And of course, there's the environmental factors too that
Oh
come into
gosh.
play.
Well,
Well,
yeah, that really should be number one.
number one, yeah,
Anyway, it's time for us to start moving away from bottled water. So
for
I'm
sure.
not a huge advocate of tap water personally. For one, I like, we're here. We have a lot of sulfur in our area, and so the water kind of, actually some people say it smells kind of eggy sometimes. But I don't really like the way our tap water tastes, but it might be because I've been spoiled with, really good quality water,
Yeah.
filtered ionized water. And but it's a preference as far as tap goes, but I think that people need to start getting away from the bottled water.
Yeah, and so of course, like with that myth, if I was to ask you what do you prefer, bottled or tap, you would be like tap water all the way. Well, it's a silly question, but it's
I'm really, really spoiled with water. I really don't want. I will say, very well filtered tap water.
yeah, for sure,
Very
yeah.
well filtered tap water. And if it's not filtered, I would still probably choose the tap water over the bottled water.
Yeah. We
Um,
all need to be water snobs, I think, at this point. So,
yes, we need to be water snobs. Okay, so
all right,
you
what's another myth?
what's our next myth?
Oh, well, I mean, I have so many, but I mean, here's another one that we could talk about, and you could weigh in on this one, Kelly, is eating before bed makes you overweight. Have you
Mm.
heard of that one before?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Or my favorite was like eating after 8 makes you gain weight, right? Or a moment on the lips is forever on the hips.
Definitely. Definitely. I've also heard that if you wait too late to eat, your food won't digest
Oh, I
properly.
heard that too. Yeah, I've heard that lots. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We should all weigh in on that one because it's a huge one. So, yeah, I mean, where do you want to start with this one? I mean, I'll give you my really big opinion is that it's actually not the foods that you're eating before bed. It's your overall caloric consumption throughout the day that makes a big difference, right? Like, if
Mhm.
you're eating, for example, if you're eating before bed, you're eating like a box of cereal or like, sugary cereal or cookies. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have more of a chance of those foods to be, consumed or converted into glucose and stored as body fat stores in your body fat
And affect your sleep
and affect
hugely.
your sleep
Yeah,
for sure.
affect your sleep hugely.
Huge.
So
Right? But if you are, eating a proper meal, let's say it's 6, 7, or 8, I mean, that's totally fine. I mean, it's not going to be converted into body fat and stored as body fat. It's also the total calories throughout the day or the types of calories that you're eating, right? If you're eating really, clean foods that are higher in fats and moderate proteins and low carbs, and you're not going to store those foods as body fat if you're having that before bedtime because the whole idea here is to keep insulin levels low, right? So if you keep insulin levels low, even at nighttime, you're not going to store those foods as body fat. Now, if you spike your insulin levels at nighttime, there's the issue, right? That's where that myth comes from, because it comes from the fact that people do eat like sugary foods before bed, which spikes insulin levels, and that drives excess sugar into the body fat stores, into adipocytes.
yeah.
So there you go. There's that myth. But if you just eat correctly throughout the day and at nighttime, shouldn't be an issue.
How many of our viewers have that bowl of ice cream right before they go to bed?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really common it's a common
Common
thing,
thing. Yeah.
and so I totally agree. It's a lot the kinds of food that you eat.
Milk and
You
cookies.
also, like with you, I've really gotten into the intermittent fasting. And
Yep.
so you want to try to have a longer time between your dinner and your breakfast. You
That's
want
right. Yeah.
a bigger space. So really, like, depending on when you're going to have your breakfast, the earlier you go in the day, you'll get more of those intermittent fasting benefits.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The other thing around that is like cutting off food earlier in the day is better than eating late at night. Now, that's not to say that you would store any of food that you're eating as body fat if you're not doing that, but it's more beneficial for the circadian rhythms, right? Because like if you're cutting off your last meal, say at 5:30, your body has a more of a higher chance of better digestion. And then you're switching your circadian rhythms over. Your body doesn't have to worry about breaking down the foods at nighttime. But it really boils down to it's really the types of foods that you're eating that makes a huge difference.
Mhm.
Right? I think that's the most important thing is making sure that you're not eating like cookies before bed or milk and cookies, right? I mean, there's a lot of myths around, hey, if I have a glass of warm milk, because that's gonna help me sleep better. But really it's not the milk, right? It's basically it's the milk can be converted into tryptophan, but like it's something again with the lactose can be converted into sugars and stored as body fat, right? So it really depends on what you're eating before bed.
Which brings me to our next question, which I think actually falls in line with that. Should sugar be removed completely from our diets?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a very good. Do you want to kick that off, Kelly, or do you want me to weigh in on that?
Oh God, well, this one, I actually believe that sugar should be removed as much as possible. There may be a few foods that still have so much of a health benefit, like dark chocolate, that you know, in moderation, they're okay here and there, like dark
Yeah,
chocolate.
dark chocolate. Yeah,
um, and uh, really, I'm okay with no sugar as long as I mean, the chocolate is, it's just, it's always been my huge crutch. And that's the one thing I never want to go away 100%. I
yeah, I
just
hear you. I hear you.
and so and really, I think, life is to be enjoyed. And so to I feel like to have, little desserts here and there, I mean, a birthday party, if you're the one that doesn't get to have the birthday cake, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, no, I agree. It depends. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, there are times when, it might be harder to avoid sugar, like birthday parties and celebrations and stuff like that. 90% of the time, we should be trying to avoid as much sugar as we can, right? But there are going to be times in our life, I admit it too as well, where you'll let sugar into your body. And I think we can't beat ourselves up over that. I think we're too like, oh,
Right.
you had sugar, bad, right? But,
Well, I think you and I are like that. I don't think the general
well,
public is
yeah,
like.
maybe. Maybe speaking for myself then, I don't know. But like for yourself, Kelly, like with your dark chocolate, I mean, I think for you, you could have those occasional moments, right? But I think where it comes a problem is that you're having sugar, twice, three, four, five times a week, right? Where it's just a continual habit, and it's hard as you get addicted, right? Because sugar, like we had mentioned probably previously last week, is that lights up the brain and it fires off different neurotransmitters, and you become very much addicted to sugar. So breaking that sugar habit is very key and critical to optimal living.
Yeah,
You know?
I do definitely agree with that one for sure. Um, and I know, I think a lot of people don't realize where sugar is exactly, and sugar is in everything.
Yeah.
And so I think that is something, that may be another topic that we need to do, is actually like revealing where is sugar. And then people will do things to cut their sugar out. Like, talk to someone the other day. Oh, I do my Diet Coke every day. That's, my Diet Coke. And they think, well, I'm cutting the sugar out. But what chemicals are you adding to your body in place of that?
Oh
That,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
um, so that's another whole thing. I think sugar needs to be a topic.
I mean, when it comes to sugar, yeah, it's a huge topic. But I mean, there's so many aliases for sugar, right? I mean, there's brown sugar and corn syrup and caramel and carob and powdered sugar and high fructose corn syrup and honey and molasses. And I mean, and those are in everything. And you're not even like hitting the most of it, right? Like there's probably about, I think I've read somewhere, there's like 40 plus, aliases around sugar.
Oh yeah,
That's the problem, is that, we are bombarded with processed foods that are marketed as healthy but are really sugar laden, and they have lots of sugar in them, but it's all based around these sugar aliases. Like, it doesn't say sugar on the nutritional ingredient, it'll say powdered cornstarch, like, which is a,
yeah.
a typical sugar, right? But nobody realizes that powdered cornstarch is sugar, so they're like, oh, this is okay because it's sugar free, it says on the box, but
I,
it's not.
I think I've heard before, like even if you see like natural flavors, that can sometimes cover up
For
sugar.
sure. For sure. Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to eat just natural, whole, unprocessed foods where there's no sugar added. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
apple versus an apple juice. I know that's, it's, we all know what that means, right? Like apple juice is processed and, refined, where a whole apple, right, affects the body differently.
Definitely. Okay. You have another one. What's your next one?
I must have some more here. Let me just see here. Starving yourself can be effective for weight loss. I think that's an interesting one. I think for a lot of people, we've been gone through the 80s and 90s, who have gone through the 80s and 90s. They've been bombarded with the diet culture, right? It's like, you know, do aerobics like crazy and starve your body, and they're going to lose weight, right? And that's really false because I mean, Kelly, as a personal trainer, you've seen it as well. I mean, you can't force your body to lose body fat by exercising over and over and over again. The body doesn't like that. In fact, you could actually, do some major damage if you're not fueling the body properly and exercising 6-7 days a week.
And I mean, it can't be maintained for the long term either. And then it's like as soon as the person eats again, they gorge themselves,
Yeah,
and so that it's not a long, certainly not a long term solution at all.
yeah, totally. So I agree 100%. I mean, you want to make sure that your health it's healthy, sustainable, and that's the biggest thing, right? So I really think when it comes to losing body fat, it's not about starving your body, but it's about giving your body the right types of foods throughout the day that help drive down insulin, which is your number one fat storing hormone. Insulin basically can allow your body to store food as body fat. That's really simple. So if you're eating foods that do not affect insulin levels, you will actually be way better off. But if you're trying to force the body to lose body fat through different means, like exercising 6 days a week and going on a starvation diet, it's going to be it's going to come back to bite you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I tell you, since I have, been on your plan for what, 7 weeks now,
Yep. Yeah. 7 weeks.
I think what I have found is the meals are very filling, and I never, even though I have that long fast, 16-hour fast, I do get a little hungry toward the end of that, in the morning. But like during the day, there's never a point where I feel like I'm, my body is struggling for food.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel very full, and yet the weight is maintained, or the weight, is just
Goes
steadily,
down.
slowly going down. And
Yeah.
it kind of feels like my body isn't having to work. It's just doing what it is supposed
I really like that analogy where your body is not doing you don't feel like the body's doing the work, right? Because I think when people go on a diet, they're like, holy crow, this is like, how am I going to follow this for the rest of my life? And it feels like work, right? And the
to.
body's like working really hard where, this way of eating is very natural for the body and reduces insulin and reduces your hunger hormones. So like you said, you don't feel hungry between the meals. You feel like it works. You're satiated. You're not hungry, and you get the energy from the meals that you need. So it's really like a win-win.
It really is. I feel like it's just kind of made things, even like here, it's just kind of made things a little more just kind of
Level.
leveled
I'm
out.
like that too. I'm like that too, where it improves cognition. Like it improves how your brain
Definitely.
functions, right? Because you're not having the blood sugar dips and swings
Yeah,
all throughout the day,
right.
right? Your blood sugar level stays very, very even keel, and your body is allowed to use its own body fat for energy. And your brain loves to do that. It loves to use ketones for energy, and that's really where you get that extra amount of that extra zing throughout the day.
Which kind of, there's a myth that goes along with that too, especially with athletes. A lot of runners, um, carb loading.
Oh
And I,
yeah,
I mean, the reason why I was eating carbs and all, from my running background, it was always, you got a big run ahead of you. Let's go out and have pizza and as much carbs
spaghetti.
as we can. And, I mean, in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was the mentality of, oh, we got a big, I've got a half marathon the next day. I need to really load up on my carbs the night before so that I, make sure I've got enough energy. And that really is what kind of set my issues into play. My body got hooked on that, and then it, just like you said, it was the up and down, up and down, up and down. And
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, for carb loading, I mean, that could be a whole other topic for athletes, but you don't need the extra carbs to perform well, right? In fact, carbs get broken down into glucose, and glucose is a finite energy source, meaning it doesn't last long in the body. So the theory about carb loading is that, hey, if you eat a whole bunch of carbs, you can basically take glucose and store it as glycogen in the muscles, and then you can have more energy for your half marathon. But it doesn't work like that, because I don't know if you heard of boinking or hitting the wall. Your body can, your body can go
many times.
Many times, right? Well,
Yeah.
your body can basically go through glucose really quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and so what ends up happening is you in your half marathon or your long run or whatever it is, you need to refuel with carbs. So you have those power gels and those gross drinks that you take with you.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like, your body doesn't use that really well, and then you get digestive upset and everything like that, right? So the other way to do it is to actually forget about carb loading and eat to actually fuel your body with ketones, because ketones, again, provide the body with so much more energy. So you can actually use ketones from your own body fat stores to fuel the workouts or your long runs or your half marathon. Like, I did a half marathon in September last year, and I did it with when I was over 16 hours of fasting. So I didn't eat before, and I did it without carbs. I did it without carb loading. I did it with all that, without doing that. And so I, obviously I did really well, and I had a great time, but I never needed to have additional carbs throughout the race. I had great energy levels, and I recovered faster because it didn't, glucose is inflammatory. So having carbs after your half marathon can lead to inflammation, which, slows down the recovery process.
Yeah, it makes me want to get back into training again to see if my results would be different this time doing it that way. Yeah, it definitely makes me want to get back into running.
100%. Yeah. No, that's a huge myth. That's a big myth. I'm glad we addressed that today.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's one. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Well, we're already at time.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh.
43 minutes of talking about myths. I don't know about you, but I'm all mythed out.
We're the myth busters today.
We're the myth busters. I'm all mythed out. So yeah, I don't know if that's a word, but I said it here on the show. All right.
Yeah, we're gonna make it a word. All right, so it's time to reveal our trivia question, but we never said what we're giving away today. What are we giving away today?
I mean, I love your coffee idea. I think the coffee thing hey, I'm not going to speak on your behalf, but I'm giving away a meal plan. I'm giving away a personalized meal plan without carbs. So yeah.
Trevor's giving away a personalized meal plan without carbs. I'm giving away my amazing mushroom coffee that I absolutely love. So dun 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 dun.
So what was our trivia question? So what was the favorite? What was Trevor's and Kelly's favorite song growing up? So mine was U2's "With or Without You." I've been listening to that since I was 13 years old. I think the first time I heard that song was in Saab 900 Turbo. Do you know Saabs?
I know Saabs.
They're funky cars, but anyway,
I love Saabs.
I love Saabs too. They're awesome cars, and I love that song. I've been listening to that song ever since. It's got a lot of deep meaning for me. Yeah, that's mine. My favorite song.
That one's a really good one, actually. Back in the day, that was definitely one of my favorites for sure. Yeah. I remember one time, so I grew up in Athens, Georgia, which is 60 miles east of Atlanta. And I remember U2 came to Atlanta, to perform.
Oh, that's awesome.
I wanted to go. So I didn't get to go, but there were all these people all over town that had U2 or Bust all over the back of their cars. And I was like, and I would listen to that song a lot, and I was like, oh, I want to go so bad. And I never got to see them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
I
I'm
can't
a
believe they're still
fan of it
touring.
too.
That's the biggest thing. They're still going hard. I mean, Bono and Edge and Larry and stuff, they're all still like out there. Like they're not,
Yeah,
they haven't
they're
stopped touring.
probably biohackers.
They're because they are biohackers. Of course they
Yeah,
are.
yeah, exactly. I think they are. Okay, so my favorite song is also from the 80s, early to mid 80s, and mine is Something About You by Level 42. And if you have never seen it, check out the video. The video is creepy, so creepy and so weird. But I always just really I love the video and I love the song too. So if you've watched till the end, and if the first person to put the answers to our trivia question in the comments, you will get a personalized
Woo!
meal plan
Meal
and
plan.
my amazing mushroom coffee.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, and how you guys get that, like for the meal plan, make sure just to connect with me on Facebook. Like, make sure you just friend me so that I can reach out to you via Facebook Messenger. We can get that started. Because the only way to get the meal plan is to actually talk to you. I have to talk to you in order for me to make the meal plan, right? And so for Kelly, you probably need to talk to them as well because you need their address, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. You'll
Yeah.
have to definitely reach out. But if you put it in the comments somewhere, I will reach out. Me or Trevor will definitely get with you on that. So we appreciate you guys so much tuning in.
Yeah.
And next week, I'm actually on vacation. I'm on spring break, my daughter's spring break. So we've got to figure out what we're going to do next
Yeah,
week.
I don't know. We're gonna go Thursday, or we're gonna just wait another week, or
We'll have to wait and see. We'll
we'll have
let
to
you
wait and
guys
see.
know. We'll put it on our pages, let you guys know what plans are. So anyway, anything else, Trevor?
Well, just again, just want to say thank you so much for watching, even if it's on the replay. We're really grateful for everyone that tunes in and watches. Our goal is to really just spread the word of biohacking and to improve your life and the life of your friends and family. So, you would, do us a huge favor if you just shared the show. Just share the show with whoever you'd like. Your friends, your family, mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, whoever, because everyone deserves to be happy and healthy with their body, and that's our goal. So, yeah.
Yes, that's definitely our goal. We want to spread the biohacker way of, come on, guys, come on. It's
Yeah.
just time. Time for
Sharing.
all of us to start being healthy and showing up as our very best. It's just time. And
Right.
that's what Trevor are going to just lead the force.
Lead the biohacking force. It's all good. All right, Kelly, as always, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you. I love it.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Looking forward to more of our special episodes together.
Yes. Thank you, Trevor. Thanks, everybody. And everybody have a great weekend.
Have a great
And
weekend, everybody.
we'll definitely let you guys know about next week.
Yes, absolutely. We'll let you guys know soon. All right, you guys
Okay.
enjoy the rest of your day. Have a happy Friday, happy weekend. We'll see you next week.
Bye,
Bye for now.
everybody.